Hey, it's Big Jeff coming to you with something new but old but new.
Big Jeff Car OG 101.
New but old. Years back when I first started going on YouTube, we were doing a car audio 101.
Yeah, what happened?
With everything else going on, just kind of forgot about it. We're starting that back up.
Figured it was about time.
So it'll be Car Audio 101 2025, where I will go over some of the top questions, and also in between start paying attention more to your comments in the videos and give you the shout out and or answers or replies that you well deserve. Let's start with number one, and this is a mistake: using the wrong wire gauge. What are we talking about today? We're talking about common mistakes in building your system. Well, this is how I used to explain it when I was in a retail shop, and I would say, hey, you get a Slurpee and you try to use a coffee straw. You'll get some up there, but you're gonna get a hell of a headache and even pass out. But then when you grab that thick Slurpee that Slurpee straw, right up.
That's the easiest way to explain.
Okay, same thing in wire gauges. So, really small wire, and it's opposite. A lot of people confuse that, meaning 0 gauge is bigger than 8 gauge. But using thicker gauge wire allows for more flow, less resistance. So there are plenty of charts online off of how many amps it's going to pull and etc, etc. But when it comes down to it, bigger is better in this case. Thicker wire,
Bigger is better.
especially going from the front or the rear of the vehicle or from your alternators to your batteries, is very good. Then you allow less resistance through the line. So if you choke it out and you're not able to get the proper amount of flow of electricity, in this case DC volts, you cause heat. You cause it to choke out and almost pass out. So also keep in mind that the grounds are just as important as the positives.
Did you hear me?
The grounds are just as important as the positives. What does that mean? Do not use less grounding than you do for your power. In fact, use as much grounding. You see big 3 kits, big 4 kits. You can see people use distribution blocks or just ground each device directly to the vehicle. When you're doing that, make sure it is bare metal. Another mistake people make. Well, they go ahead and just use a screw or a seat belt or some of that, but the vehicles are painted, sometimes even coated to not corrode, and that does not pass electricity. You need to scuff that up, razor blades, or you can get some Brillo type or sanding, and you want to get metal on metal. If you're worried about corrosion at that point, you can paint over that, but where you go metal, that needs to be direct contact. Okay, what else can you do? Well, I've seen grounding kits out there by, I think his name is JP, the installer, which actually gives you a bolt and like a lock washer. Really cool stuff. But at the end of the day, it's just getting it to metal and keep your ground short. I remember back in the day, people used to believe in running the ground from the front to the back and it would be less resistance, but the whole vehicle is a ground. So shorter grounds the better, more the merrier. Okay, I also want to bring up a comment. We want to do some comments. Ben, what's the first one here? George Bally 6307. Sorry, I'm reading it far away. No, Big Jeff, you can't use 1980s cocaine razor blade to open that beast. I think what he is referencing to is one of the videos where I cut my finger and I said I got a Band-Aid on and I couldn't find my pocket knife, so I grabbed a regular straight edge blade. It's funny how little stuff like that you all pick up on. This was us talking about a Rage 2000 amp. Hey, he said he would even send me one. I would love to get it, use it, more than welcome to send it, get with my customer service. But for now, I'm gonna use the straight edge razors. Okay, back to another common question. Let's pull that up. Mix matching your amp and sub. Beautiful, we're gonna get into this. I tell my customer service team that always at the bare minimum, match RMS for RMS. And when I say bare minimum, we have the biggest fear in car audio, impedance rise. And what that means is, depending on the size enclosure, vented, 4th order, 6th order, 5th, what doesn't matter, you do not know what the impedance rise is going to be till it's done and hooked up. So I believe in overpower because it can be gained down. I just watched an old video from EXO that was like 3 years old, and they were talking about underpower or smaller can actually blow a woofer just as bad because you get into clip signals, and even though if it's 1,000 watts and you're able to push 1,300 watts, then 1,300 watts of distorted or clipped power. We get all the time, hey, I only played this for 5 minutes. It's 1,000 watt subwoofer, only a 500 watt amp. There's no way I could have blown it. Wrong. Clip signals are the enemy. That also causes heat and failure. So make sure you match up your systems, and better to get something bigger than smaller. What I mean by that is, if you have a 1,000 watt woofer and you go for a 1,500 watt amp, it can always be gained down. But with reality of impedance rise, are you going to get that full 1,000 watts or even the 1,500 watts when it's rated maybe at 1 ohm or 2 ohm and your impedance rise is double that? So you could always gain things down to a good signal, but it's like you can't overgain it, okay? So RMS for RMS, but better to buy it bigger. Another way, an analogy I use in retail. If I had a vehicle that could do 150 miles an hour, how long can it do 150 miles an hour? But I take that same vehicle and I lock it in at 80, I can go cross country and not worry about it blowing up, heating up, and everything else. It's the same thing with amplifiers. Yes, it might be able to produce that, but you also have other things in there. Your wire, your grounds, the electricity, your storage, the amperage. So why do I want to run that thing maxed out all the time? No, I'd rather get something larger and run it at, I don't know, 60% of it or whatever. You're going to have longevity. Okay, back to another comment. Listen, I never ask anybody for super chats or money. We don't do this for this. I don't care about monetizing. But it's always nice to see when somebody does do that. And I want to give them a proper shout out. Michael Mahaffey 8084. What do you get out of that? Michael Mahaffey? Yeah, I guess. Michael Mahaffey. Okay, thank you for the $2 super chat. Just wanted to give you a shout out for it. I don't ask anybody to do it, but it is nice to see it, and I appreciate that. Okay, back to the 101. Cranking the gain like a volume knob. No, the gain is too set. It's not a volume knob. Volume knobs are volume knobs. So keep in mind, you can't just crank the thing all the way up and it's going to work. Get yourself an SMD meter for distortion, or look up how to use a multimeter and do the math to find out what that voltage should be set at and unclipping. But you can get O-scopes now on Amazon for like $20 or $30. In fact, I'm thinking about getting one and making it a Big Jeff one because it will save tons of money and time. Do not just get in there and think, oh, if I put it at 3/4, we'll be fine. There are some amplifiers that won't even need to go over half. It's all about the input voltage from the signal. If it's 1 volt, 2 volt, 4 volts, which is basically like a gas pedal, it's on your amperage, your power, so many variables. And at the end of the day, the best way is to check with some type of testing like an O-scope, a voltage meter, or if there's even a clip light on one of your devices, use that. And then keep in mind that you need to do that through every device. And what do I mean? The head unit, a DSP or a crossover at the amp, all devices need to make sure you're setting it to the maximum before clipping. We want that nice smooth signal. And something I learned here with all the stuff we have, that even if it looks smooth, if you were to magnify it and it almost gets like a Christmas tree, it hasn't clipped, but it's there. You know what? I found out that's not good. We just want a nice, perfect, smooth wave. Okay, back to comments. David Kinder Yeti 6775. I appreciate the little details you throw in your reviews for those that are beginners, but love our tunes with so many options out there, man. It really helps to have somebody explain the difference on micro scale. Listen, I am not an engineer. I'm not even an expert. I'm just a guy that has done car audio on and off as a kid. I've installed, I've sold it. I've been in the manufacturer's world, the distributor world, the retail world, and I am a bass head myself. with multiple systems over the years and multiple vehicles. I try to break things down as best as possible, and I do appreciate different comments that might correct me without being a troll. And I like seeing people actually paying attention or even noticing little things like a razor blade. Listen, that's what we do it for. Again, we don't do this for monetizing. I don't claim to be a YouTuber. I claim to sell car audio. We do some of our own branding. We are a distributor for different brands. We are a reseller for different brands, retail and also e-commerce. And I just feel the videos are a way to be one-on-one and the appreciation of a guy that started this out of a single car garage with $500 to a multi-warehouse, multi-employee company. And I try to do my best, but thank you. Okay, number 5, and this will be the last one for this video, and we will do another 5 on the next video. And I hope you enjoy these and you leave some comments with questions and things that you want me to go over. And you know what? We go over product every video and we test things. I just want to talk one-on-one. Skipping sound deadening. Okay. What is sound deadening? Well, layman's terms, as the last comment said, you cannot destroy energy. You can just convert it into something else. Vibration is an energy. Sound deadening absorbs vibration and basically converts it to minute amounts of heat. Why is it so important? Well, in certain cases, vibration can actually distort and or lose a signal. Vibration is a wave. You can actually have a wave against a wave and you lose sound or output. And then not even that, do you really want to hear while you're trying to hear clean sound? Some of you all do, and there's nothing wrong with that. By using sound deadening, that's what they do in expensive vehicles. They keep the sound out and keep the sound in. What does that mean? Well, if you're a guy trying to be heard 3 blocks away, just roll down the windows. But either way, I would do as much sound deadening as I can, or my pocket will allow. Sound deadening material on your doors can take decent speakers and make them sound good, and excellent speakers sound even better. Without it, you could take expensive speakers and sound like crap because of that. Now, sound deadening comes in foam, stick-on, different thicknesses. You don't have to get crazy like that. But what I can tell you, even with little pieces of sound deadening, makes a huge difference. When we used to sell Dynomat, they had a bell, and you just put a little piece of Dynomat in there. When you hit the bell, with it and without, it was a total difference. It's the reality. If you see videos of people knocking on their doors with their hood or their trunk, it's an instant. Even a few sheets just make a huge difference. So if you're spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, why not spend another 40 or 50 bucks for some sound deadening? You can always add that stuff on as you build your system or as you get more money. Okay, back to the comments, and I want to give this guy a big shout out, Jason WW2000. I had my team send you a message because I'd love to get you on the Big Sound by Big Jeff podcast. Man, you are, I got to give you props. You are an educated guy in this whole world, and I love hearing your comments. You've corrected me a few times, and you even noticed something. Yes, well, I think we were doing, I don't remember which amp, it might have been one of the B2 items, but I have to look back. I had my flute, which I had to spend $800 on for the clamp to get the amperage, right? Because that shows you efficiency. I had it set on AC instead of DC. AC is what an electrician would use for your home. DC is our world when it comes to that. So thank you for clearing that up, and that's why those numbers were way off, and I'm so glad you noticed that. Listen, I'm gonna go into one more comment. Steve Rodriguez 6030. What size should I buy for my 2014 F-150? He was talking about the Jensen radios. So cool thing about the F-150 is you do have a double DIN location, which means most double DINs would fit in there. The double DIN is a full face. Each DIN, right, like your regular car radio is a DIN, a double DIN. With that F-150, you can get a dash kit that has 2 sides and mount the full thing. But the cool thing is, even if you don't have that and say you want your pocket or you want to do an EQ on the bottom, they make dash kits that will do a single DIN with a pocket. So either way, you're good in that, but I always like the double DIN. And even on all my newer vehicles, I use that factory radio. I use a DSP and other things to convert that sound over. But why go with a smaller flip out anymore? You can have a nice solid screen. But great question. Thank you so much for watching the videos. Listen, this is Car Audio 101, 2025. I went over the 5 misinfo or issues with building the system. And on the second video, we're gonna do 5 more and more comments from you. Hit that like button, leave a comment, please. I am trying to read them. My team brings them to us. I know it's crazy out there, and a lot of times people think nobody's listening, but we are. And I'm gonna try to do that more and more each video by bringing in comment statements or corrective criticism back out and give you the shout out you deserve. So I'm Big Jeff from BigJeffAudio.com, kicking off 2025 with Car Audio 101 Part 1. I'll see you on Part 2. Hit that subscribe button and the bell so when these videos pop up, you might just pop on and take a listen. Those likes really help, and the comments. And for you guys that have sent money, I appreciate it. I will always turn that back into giveaways, and we are doing giveaways weekly, bi-weekly, and monthly. And that is a give back to the bass community. And finally, I'm seeing so many more females. We did a female giveaway. I'm seeing more on our social media platforms, more in the videos. Man, it's great to see it's not just a men's thing. Females in there doing custom builds, getting down with bass. I want to see more of you. So share this out to your female friends and let them know Big Jeff Audio is about every race, creed, sexuality. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's music. I'll see you on the next video. What are you laughing? I can see you laughing through the screen.